All right, good afternoon, Marching Minutemen. We are here on 10-8 at practice, and we'll be adjudicating you this afternoon in individual visual performance. So I'm going to be looking at all of the individual things you're doing visually and checking out how those things work for you. Hopefully my comments are helpful to you as you prepare for your competition tomorrow. Looking forward to your show. Drum major, is your band ready? All right, so right off the bat, as we're standing here at attention, I see two of our guard members are up to the box smiling, and one of them is looking down at the ground. So make sure you're up to the box smiling. Looks like we're starting down on the ground here, visually. Start back on the backfield here with your trumpets. All right, so as we're coming up here, make sure that arm stays in full extension the entire time. So make sure we're not, cutting that angle with our elbow and bending our elbow forward. Down here now with the flutes and the mellophone. Okay, so as you're up on your knees here, make sure that posture stays nice and tall. Project up to the box, and make sure your knees are still together. Okay, nice ripple there. Good job. Good coordination of elements there. Looks like we all have a consistent style with the toe pointing down toward the end zone. That's very nice. Okay, on that lean, let's define how many counts is that lean going to be. So how long is that lean? How many counts do we hold back? Let's really define that because it was a little bit ill-defined there, okay? Oh, as we step off, always make sure, trumpet player, that we step off on the left foot, please. Left foot step off. All right, checking feet here. Looks like we got some bent knees, especially here in the clarinet players. We're bending those knees up. Make sure you keep those heels low. Slide them along the ground. Oh, okay, we missed a visual here with the saxophone player. Make sure we get that visual. It's 4 counts before that transition. Make sure you get that spin around going. Okay, here as we're coming forward with the small feet, small steps, make sure that those toes stay up high. See, we're shuffle stepping here, so make sure we get those toes nice and high. That way we have good marching style. Okay, here, are feet together or apart, woodwinds? Because I've got both going on here, so let's check that out. Make sure those feet are either together or apart, but define that. We've also got toes touching. Make sure toes are either touching or not, because I've got both happening. Okay, I appreciate the style of marching here with the heels up off the ground and the flutes and clarinet. Nice job backward marching there. Okay, again, checking feet here. So we've got our bari sax player toes facing the end zone. Everybody else's toes are facing forward. Got to define these styles, guys. These are the little things that make this caption win. Okay, clarinet player here on the sideline. Make sure you're either marking time or moving on that move when everyone else is. You were standing completely still, and that just was a little bit distracting because that's not what everybody else was doing. All right, so brass, as we go into this hole, let's make sure feet are either together or apart. Yep, you fixed it, but let's make sure it's right this time. Okay, horns up, trumpets. Where's that horns up going to happen? Let's define those counts, yes? Okay, saxophone player, we're out of step here, so we got to know where that pulse is. Oh, okay, and this whole woodwind feature, make sure that you take even steps to get all the way there. I saw you guys stop about 3 or 4 steps before that phrase ended, and that's incorrect. You got to carry through all the way through the visual and the musical phrase together. Okay, this step off here, that was very ill-defined, so we have to really define where that step off is going to happen, especially up in the high brass up front. Okay, saxophones here, as we're coming across, let's make sure our posture is up nice and tall, because right now we're kind of sinking into the ground. And are we facing forward or are we facing the sideline, the end zone? Let's make sure we have that defined as well, because right now we have both going on here. Okay, so we stopped moving early here in the clarinet player. You got to carry all the way, again, all the way through the visual phrase as well as the musical phrase. So those things should be coordinated together. Hopefully your drill designer wrote it that way. You should keep moving all the way until that entrance on this chart here. All right, checking step off here. Okay, we missed step off here in the clarinets. Missed that step off. Got it again. The visual phrase and the musical phrase should align together. Okay, as we're coming across here in the trumpets, let's make sure that this isn't a shuffle step. Notice we have toes down. We need to get those toes up in the air. Heels are down and knees are totally straight here. Okay, backward technique here. Let's guide to the lines. Is this supposed to be one line or two? Let's make sure that's defined. And again, saxophone player, make sure your toes are pointed the correct direction here. Okay, again, boys and girls, we're ending this phrase about 5 counts early. Going into this company front, you've got to have the steps have to match the counts of the musical chart as well. So right now you have an inconsistency from your music to your visual phrase. Okay, on this side over here with trumpets, let's define, are we having toes pointed toward the 50 here or away from the 50? Because right now we had a little bit of both. That's got to be defined all the way across. I would recommend toes toward the 50. All right, looking at feet at hold here. Looks pretty good, except for our trombone player. Again, heels are not together, so we got to make sure those heels stay together. When we're holding, the heels have to touch. No daylight can come between those two shoes. All right, that step off, let's make sure that's clean, boys and girls. Okay, this is a great opportunity, Saxes, to show me your toes up technique, and I am seeing it here. We got one player out of step, though. Last alto here, you're out of step there. All right, trombone player, don't end early. We got to carry all the way through the visual phrase, as I've said before. Okay, on this pinwheel, so we have some inconsistency with where that line's actually going, pinwheel-wise. So let's make sure that line stays really clean. Maybe do 8 count intervals to clean that up. Okay, don't move on the hold, sax player. Even if you're wrong, just stay frozen on the hold so I don't notice you. Same thing on the clarinets back here. We got moving after the hold is supposed to occur. Make sure you move and stop at the right times, even if you're on the wrong dot. Stopping moving is more important than being on the right dot. Okay, and guard, let's make sure we define where does that release happen on the last note. Should be on count 9. So again, make sure we have that rep because 2 of you released on, I think, 7, 1 of you released on 8, but nobody actually released on 9. So that's where that definition is going to come through. Again, make sure those releases are up in the air, nice and high as well. Overall, Minutemen, you're making progress, but we've got to clean up consistency about when do you stop moving, when do you start moving, and also cleaning up consistency about toes. Your toes are way too low for this point in the season, so we got to get those toes up in the air, really stress flexing those toes up. Thank you. Hope my comments are helpful.